Have you ever felt so overwhelmed by sadness that it seemed to overshadow everything else? What would your life look like if you could find joy even in the midst of sorrow? Do you often find yourself longing for past joys that now seem just out of reach? As we go through life, we all have times when we feel very sad and down. At times like these, it may seem as if the weight of the world is pressing down on us, and a cloud of darkness is looming over our horizon. Nevertheless, it is of the utmost importance to keep in mind that we are not the only ones going through this storm. This movie is a compilation of a series of inspiring and reassuring statements and lessons that we have painstakingly selected to accompany you on your fight against loss and suffering. This came about as a result of our trip, which is why we have decided to upload it. The intention behind these lines is to serve as a soothing salve for the spirit, a reminder that hardship is only temporary and that power lies dormant inside you, just waiting to be reawakened. It doesn't matter whether you are going through a personal crisis, dealing with despair, or just need a boost of encouragement in your day-to-day life. These teachings are here to give you with support, inspiration, and hope. So, we would like to extend an invitation to you to allow these potent words to infiltrate your being, nurture your soul, and boost your spirits. We encourage you to open your heart and mind to these words. We have the ability to transform the darkness into light and discover the power to go ahead when we work together. Let's get started. Firstly, the acceptance of things that cannot be altered. When you experience the immensity of the cosmos, you come face to face with a force that you are unable to control, the unending stream of external circumstances. In light of this difficulty, what steps should be taken? There is a method that the Stoics provide for you, and that is to accept what you cannot alter. On the other hand, how do you arrive to that acceptance? I would like to take you on a journey via the teachings of the Stoic sages and historical instances that shed light on this road of tranquility and fortitude. This sage advice was passed down to us by Cicero, the well-known Roman philosopher, who said, "Learning to ignore things is one of the great lessons of life." We are encouraged by this saying to accept reality in its present state, rather than wasting our time and energy fighting against currents that we are unable to control. By using your hands, is it possible to alter the path that a river takes? In the same way that the river seems to flow with unstoppable power, you should learn to flow with the realities of your life. Stoicism is shown in uplifting ways throughout history in the crucible. Do you remember Epictetus, the philosopher who was a slave? Even though he was a slave, he was able to discover inner freedom by accepting his situation with a calm and collected attitude. Because to his legacy, we are reminded that genuine freedom is not found in the shackles of destiny, but rather in the mind. What are some ways to adjust to the unavoidable? The book Meditations, written by Emperor Marcus Aurelius, provides some useful advice, which may be summarized as follows. Do not resist what happens to you. Join it. When you get used to it and become one with reality, you can no longer be hurt by it. Did you ever wonder why trees with more flexibility are better able to withstand storms? In the same way that the tree sags in response to the wind, it also learns to flex in response to the ups and downs of life. In the face of suffering, it is impossible to understate the significance of discovering what it means to be at peace. In the event that a sailor were to wait in the midst of the storming sea, what would ultimately happen to him? The Stoic philosopher Seneca reminds us that pleasure is like a wave that is moving in the right direction. Finding pleasure in the middle of a storm is something that may be accomplished when one learns to ride the waves of life with contentment. It is important to keep in mind that the source of misery is the resistance to truth. Have you ever pondered the reasons behind a child's tears when he is unable to get what he desires? Suffering is the result of a battle against something that cannot be changed. According to the words of Marcus Aurelius, hardship is not so much a challenge as it is a chance to increase one's spiritual fortitude. The transformation of pain into wisdom occurs when one accepts reality with an attitude of acceptance. One of the fundamental components of Stoicism is the acceptance of things that one cannot alter. I have successfully led you down the road of tranquility and fortitude by providing you with illuminating quotations and historical instances. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Accept the things to which the chain of your destiny binds you, and love the people with whom you share the present. In acceptance and love, you will find true freedom." It is important to keep these words in mind at all times. Controlling one's emotions is the second point. How do you maintain your composure and calmness in the face of a world that is full of emotional highs and lows? Stoics, who were experts in the art of emotional regulation, have provided us with teachings that have stood the test of time and continue to be relevant today. In the words of Epictetus, "Calm is the refuge of the troubled soul." Now is the time to delve into the intriguing realm of emotional management. How are you able to prevent yourself from being ruled by bad feelings? The practice of emotional detachment is an approach that has shown to be helpful. Try to picture yourself in the middle of a traffic gridlock. Strive to maintain a stoic attitude rather than giving in to feelings of annoyance and rage. Despite the fact that you are unable to control the traffic, you do have power over how you decide to respond to it. According to Marcus Aurelius, serenity is the armor of the soul. Emotional self-discipline is a strong weapon that you might have in your armory. The Stoics had a profound understanding of this. The ancient Greek philosopher Seneca is credited with saying, "Self-mastery is the greatest victory." Through the cultivation of self-discipline, one may learn to behave with grace even in the most challenging of situations. Inspiring examples of how the Stoics managed to keep their emotions under control in difficult circumstances should be considered. The Roman philosopher Epictetus is a good example of someone who was able to keep his composure even while he was being tortured and oppressed. Our inner freedom is something that cannot be taken away from us, regardless of the circumstances that surround us, as Jesus tells us. In your day-to-day existence, what are some ways that you might nurture emotional tranquility? Here are some suggestions that may be put into practice. To begin, engage in mindful practices. Spend a few minutes every day examining your thoughts and feelings without passing judgment on them. This will help you become more present in the moment. By doing so, you will be able to cultivate a deeper awareness of yourself and the emotional responses you experience. As Marcus Aurelius once remarked, "Inner peace is the greatest wealth." The path towards self-discipline and inner calm is a fascinating one, and it is a one that involves controlling one's emotions. It is possible to learn how to maintain composure even in the middle of a storm by adhering to the principles of the Stoics and practicing techniques such as emotional detachment, self-discipline, and gratitude. It is important to keep in mind that Seneca once stated, "Life, if you know how to use it properly, is long enough." Therefore, make the most of every moment and develop your emotional peace with unwavering dedication and perseverance. The third point is the role of virtue as a guide. In the enormous ocean that is your life, have you ever taken the time to reflect on the things that serve as your compass through the storms and the bright days? Virtue emerges as a guiding light, a constant that illuminates the path to a life that is rich in purpose and abundant in fulfillment. It is more than an abstract idea. Rather, it is a moral compass that directs us in every choice and action that we do. Seneca makes the observation that virtue is the only good. What are some ways that we might light the fire of virtue that is inside us and allow it to shine even in the midst of the darkness? The ideas of great philosophers have reverberated throughout history, serving as a constant reminder of the significance of adhering to ethical values in real life. According to Confucius, virtue is at the center of the path. In this context, the focus is on demonstrating that we are acting with passion and integrity in our actions, which is a reflection of virtue in action. When we make a commitment to conduct our lives in line with our most fundamental principles, we discover a purpose that goes beyond the circumstances we are in. In the most difficult times of our lives, morality has the potential to serve as our rock, our anchor in the middle of the storm. Just picture yourself dealing with a catastrophic loss or an overwhelming failure. Wisdom is the one who tells us that pain is unavoidable, but suffering is something that we choose to experience. Virtue provides us with a hand to hang on to when we are in those times of despair. Fundamental virtues such as knowledge, bravery, justice, and temperance are the foundational strengths upon which a life that is meaningful is constructed. The search of knowledge and comprehension gives us the ability to differentiate between what is true and what is false, and wisdom is the guiding force behind this endeavor. It is the power that comes from having bravery that enables us to confront obstacles with courage, even when fear is trying to paralyze us. The pursuit of justice compels us to behave in a manner that is kind and compassionate toward other people, acknowledging our connectivity with fellow human beings. As a result of temperance, we learn the skill of moderation and self-control, which enables us to steer clear of excesses that might take us down a road that destroys ourselves. From the Emperor Marcus Aurelius to the slave Epictetus, there are many instances of individuals throughout history who have discovered that the practice of Stoic virtue has provided them with the strength they needed to succeed. These historical personalities may serve as a source of motivation for us, because of their capacity to handle challenges with poise and dignity. However, virtue is not something that is reserved just for the heroes of history. Rather, it is something that every one of us can nurture in our day-to-day lives. How are you able to do this? To get started, you should first examine your beliefs and make a commitment to always act in accordance with them. Through the cultivation of self-discipline and self-control, you may acquire the ability to dominate your feelings and wants. Develop compassion and understanding for other people, and acknowledge that we are all on the same human journey. It is important to keep in mind the words of Epictetus, which include the following: "Do not expect events to happen as you wish. Choose to wish them to happen as they happen, and your life will be peaceful." In the end, virtue is not merely an ideal to strive for. Rather, it is a route to pursue throughout the whole of one's journey through life. We are able to discover a more profound sense of purpose, meaning, and inner serenity if we accept the essential Stoic qualities and work to cultivate them in our day-to-day lives. Therefore, what are you holding out for? Discover the transforming potential that your life is capable of having by allowing virtue to serve as your guide. The sway of perspective is the fourth point. One of the many powers that exist inside the enormous world of the mind is one that we often fail to recognize: the power of perspective. As we stand here in front of a warped mirror, our perceptions are the ones that form the world that we live. Would you believe me if I told you that altering the way you see the world has the potential to dramatically alter the course of your life? The Stoic elders instilled in us the importance of questioning our own interpretations and adopting a more expansive and objective perspective. With the words of Epictetus, "The mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant in it will flourish." In other words, our perceptions and ideas have a direct influence on our experience of reality, which in turn shapes every part of our existence. In light of this, how can we incorporate this old knowledge into our contemporary lives? Let's start with tiny measures, putting behind the cloudy glasses of negativity and embracing the clear lens of Stoic perspective. Imagine that you are confronted with a situation that seems to be insurmountable, like a mountain that is looming in front of you. Before you even take the first step, you could experience feelings of being overwhelmed and discouraged if you focus on a restricted viewpoint. However, when seen from the peak of that mountain, the panorama is different and the opportunities are limitless. This is the power of shifting your viewpoint, how you can change challenges into opportunities, and how you can transform adversity into progress. Stoic quotations serve as flashlights in the gloom of our minds, illuminating the path to a more profound comprehension of the world around us. According to Marcus Aurelius, choose not to be hurt, and you will feel no pain. Do not worry about death, and you will not feel fear. What we discover in these words is the promise of freedom, liberation from suffering that can be achieved by altering our perspective of it. Each and every idea is a seed placed in the garden that is our mind. Through the cultivation of the capacity to see things from a variety of perspectives, you will be rewarded with insight and inner serenity. When you find yourself in the midst of a tempest of your own feelings, take a minute to pause and ask yourself, what if I were to look at this from a different perspective? For the Stoics, difficulties were seen as chances for personal development and as workshops of virtue in which they honed their character to its fullest potential. According to Seneca, adversity instructs us, prosperity corrupts us. In every challenge, in every setback, there is the possibility to empower yourself, to become the hero of your own narrative. I encourage you to take advantage of this opportunity. Just like an athlete develops his body, you should train your mind. Demonstrate empathy by seeing yourself in the position of another person. To cultivate gratitude and to discover beauty even in the most difficult of circumstances. Acceptance is a practice that involves accepting reality in its current state without resisting or judging it. If you are the ruler of your own destiny and the creator of your own reality, then you have the power of perspective in your hands. If you pick your ideas carefully, you will be able to bring about a transformation in your life. As Marcus Aurelius once remarked, it is all in the mind. The impermanence of everything is the fifth point. Impermanence is a rule that cannot be changed, and it is emblazoned across the vast canvas of reality. Everything is prone to change, from the temporary palpitations of our own hearts to the seasonal cycles that occur throughout the year. This essential fact, which is timeless and spans all cultures and eras, is brought to our attention by the knowledgeable Stoics, who are masters of practical philosophy. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Life is a river in constant flux." That is exactly what life is. Because of the hectic pace of our daily lives, we often fail to remember this fundamental reality and instead cling to the idea that things will remain the same. Stoic quotes, on the other hand, encourage us to reflect on the transient character of the experiences we have. As an example, Zeno of Citium imparted to us the knowledge that, just as the waves of the ocean come and go, so too are our lives, which are fleeting and subject to change. When we come to terms with the fact that everything in this world is ephemeral, we are able to liberate ourselves from the anguish that results from being attached to something that will eventually become obsolete. We are able to discover a profound inner peace when we are willing to accept change and impermanence. Seneca brings attention to the fact that life is like a brief theatrical act. It is not the duration that matters, but the quality of its performance. By adopting a mindset that is detached from worldly goods and aspirations, we are able to liberate ourselves from the burden of concerns and anxieties that arise as a result of connection to the transitory. By concentrating on the things that are within their control, the Stoics were able to find calm in the face of impermanence. These things included their thoughts and acts. They were confronted with the death of a loved one, but rather than lamenting what they could no longer alter, they found comfort in love and in the memories they had with one another. This discipline of action and detachment enabled them to flow with the currents of life rather than persistently opposing them. This helped them to experience life more fully. In order to cultivate detachment and acceptance of impermanence in your own life, you might start by developing gratitude for each present moment and noticing the beauty that is transitory. You also have the ability to learn how to let go of expectations and attachments to the future, and instead embrace uncertainty as a chance to develop and make progress. The cultivation of a peaceful and balanced mind in the midst of the storm of change may also be accomplished via the use of strong techniques such as meditation and introspection. When we finally come to terms with the fact that everything is temporary, we discover an unbreakable freedom that is unaffected by the ups and downs of life. It was Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, who stated, "As the flower withers and falls, so our existence is ephemeral." If you accept this reality, you will discover that the fluidity of life is where you will find calm. We discover the profound serenity and pleasure that lies at the core of our own impermanence when we allow ourselves to flow with that flow. Sixth, the significance of having an understanding of oneself. When it comes to the enormous canvas that is life, self-knowledge is the most valuable brush, since it enables you to paint your own image with vivid colors and distinct lines. According to the Greek philosopher Socrates, the true voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new lands, but in having new eyes. The importance of learning about oneself has been emphasized by wise people throughout history. The ancient oracle of Delphi instructs us to know thyself, and we heed its advice. This adage, which is said to have originated from the philosophers of ancient Greece, has served as a constant reminder over the decades. That self-awareness is the starting point for genuine wisdom. Imagine a ship starting sail toward the horizon without a captain who is already familiar with the currents, the winds, and the hidden perils that may be encountered. It is not something that would be left up to chance and anarchy. In a similar vein, if you do not have a profound comprehension of your own values, strengths, and limitations, you will find yourself navigating rough seas without a rudder or compass. Self-knowledge is not only an academic exercise, rather, it is the beacon that directs your choices, provides you with direction for your activities, and contributes to the formation of your destiny. In accordance with the words of Carl Jung, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. The darkness that lie in the depths of your being may be discovered by searching inside yourself, which will also allow you to uncover the hidden riches that are a part of your existence. You will not be able to truly appreciate who you are and who you want to be unless you confront these essential facts. When it came to the pursuit of a meaningful existence, the Stoics, with their pragmatic and virtue-centered approach, were aware of the significance of self-knowledge. In accordance with the words of Epictetus, the key to immortality is, first and foremost, to live a life worth remembering. These thinkers, ranging from Seneca to Marcus Aurelius, used introspection and self-evaluation as crucial instruments in their pursuit of moral superiority. Imagine the philosopher and emperor Marcus Aurelius sitting in his tent and devoting his time to writing in his personal diary. He evaluated his own acts and motives by means of meditation and contemplation, and he tried to align himself with the Stoic values of wisdom, justice, temperance, and bravery in a consistent manner. In order to build self-knowledge in your own life, you need to participate in continual examination of your ideas, feelings, and the things that motivate you. The philosopher Descartes once claimed that doubt is the origin of wisdom. In contrast to contemplation, which enables you to dive more deeply into your experiences and derive significant lessons from them, meditation provides a peaceful environment in which to watch the mind throughout its activity. In the end, self-knowledge is not a destination that one may arrive at. Rather, it is a journey of self-discovery and personal development that never ends. Through the act of embracing this search with bravery and curiosity, you will go on a journey that will lead you to a life that is more genuine, rewarding, and meaningful. According to the words of the scholar Lao Tse, knowledge of others is wisdom, and knowledge of oneself is enlightenment. Patience is the seventh virtue and virtue. In turbulent times, when a chimera emerges and adversity stands like an impenetrable wall, the virtue of patience rises like a luminary in the darkness, leading you with its quiet light to inner serenity. Patience is more than just a virtue, it is a virtue. Epictetus, a wise man, once observed that patience is a bitter fruit, but the fruit of patience is delicious. Not only can statements that praise this virtue resound well in the midst of turmoil, but they also serve to remind you that genuine strength does not lay in speed, but rather in endurance. It is said that impatience is the weakness of the powerful, while patience is the strength of those who are weak. Upon contemplating the transformational potential of patience, you come to the realization that it is not only a virtue, but rather a strong partner in the search of well-being, as Marcus Aurelius put it. Being impatient simply leads to feelings of tension and irritation, but being patient helps build a sense of calm and mental clarity. When you achieve a state of serenity and patience, you discover the capacity to accept what you are unable to alter and to act sensibly when confronted with what you are able to do. The Stoics, revered for their mastery of the art of patience, have left behind a lasting legacy that demonstrates how to live a life that exemplifies this virtue. The Stoics teach us that genuine strength rests in inner calm. From Seneca, who wrote of the peace of mind that comes from learning to wait with tranquility, to Marcus Aurelius, whose mastery of patience amidst the vagaries of power is legendary, the Stoics teach us that true strength lies in inner quiet. Then, how can you make this virtue a part of your own lifelong practice? It is essential that you participate in ongoing examination of your ideas, feelings, and the things that motivate you. The philosopher Descartes once claimed that doubt is the origin of wisdom. In contrast to contemplation, which enables you to dive more deeply into your experiences and derive significant lessons from them, meditation provides a peaceful environment in which to watch the mind throughout its activity. In the end, self-knowledge is not a destination that one may arrive at. Rather, it is a journey of self-discovery and personal development that never ends. Through the act of embracing this search with bravery and curiosity, you will go on a journey that will lead you to a life that is more genuine, rewarding, and meaningful. According to the words of the scholar Lao Tse, knowledge of others is wisdom, and knowledge of oneself is enlightenment. The significance of the here and now is the eighth point. When we are caught up in the whirlwind of life, we often find ourselves stuck between the whirlwinds of the past and the gales of the future. As a result, we forget that the most genuine existence develops in the present moment, which is the most priceless. In the words of Seneca, the present is the shadow that moves, separating yesterday from tomorrow. It is just now. There is no yesterday, no future. By putting it to good use, it transforms every day of the past into a dream of joy and every day of the future into a vision of hope. From the ancient Stoics to the current masters of mindfulness, the wisdom of all ages emphasizes the significance of living in the present now. This is a topic that appears again throughout the wisdom of all eras. The importance of living in the present moment is emphasized via quotations. It is the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius who encourages us to direct our efforts not toward battling the past, but rather toward constructing the future. This astute advice serves to remind us that our attention is a finite resource, and that when we dwell on the past or fret about the future, we are squandering the very essence of existence. In the midst of the haze, the practice of mindfulness shines like a lighthouse, leading us to a state of mental tranquility and clarity. We may build a feeling of inner serenity that is beyond the anxieties that we experience on a daily basis by training our minds to be totally present in the moment that we are experiencing. We are reminded that practicing mindfulness is not limited to just sitting in meditation. Rather, it involves incorporating attention into each and every minute of our everyday lives. What are some ways that we might incorporate mindful present into our everyday lives? The following are some simple but effective tactics. The practice of mindful breathing, for instance, is an essential instrument. Please take a minute to focus on your breathing and become aware of the sensation of air entering and leaving your body. The worry of the past and the anxiety of the future are left behind as a result of this simple action, which firmly establishes you in the here and now. Those who were masters of inner tranquility, the Stoics, also placed a high priority on the here and now as the essential component of a good existence. Epictetus, a slave who later became a philosopher, reminds us that it is not events in and of themselves that cause us distress. Rather, it is our interpretations of those events that do so. This concept emphasizes the significance of accepting responsibility for our actions and confronting the situations we find ourselves in with bravery and determination. This approach was shown by Socrates, another renowned philosopher, who faced his death sentence with composure and dignity. He demonstrated that even in the most dire circumstances, conscious action may change the course of one's fate. How exactly can we put these concepts into practice in our day-to-day lives? Listed below are some useful suggestions. Once you have identified your concerns and limits, the next stage is to take action against them in a step-by-step manner. Secondly, establish a growth mentality by seeing setbacks as chances to learn and experience personal development. The third step is to cultivate an attitude of gratitude and self-learning, acknowledging that you are capable of overcoming any challenges that may be in your path. The power of action is a transforming energy that is already present inside you and is only waiting to be released via your actions. Through the act of taking action in the face of adversity, you are able to grow your determination, strengthen your will, and build your destiny with bravery and determination. In accordance with Seneca, in action lies the spark that ignites the fire of change and improvement. Do not be afraid to act, for in every step forward, you will find the strength to overcome any obstacle in your path. Therefore, muster the courage to take action and uncover the boundless potential that is within you. 10. Calmness in the face of an unknown. Serenity becomes your best friend and your safe haven in the storm when you are surrounded by the turbulence and unpredictability that is a part of your existence. As a result of their ageless philosophy, the Stoics instruct us to embrace serenity in the midst of chaos, to discover peace in turbulence, and to find stability in instability. The ultimate power of the spirit, as Marcus Aurelius tells us, is the ability to maintain calm in the face of uncertainty. These words of wisdom lead us to a place of inward tranquility. Finding a place of peace and quiet becomes an absolute need when the waves are turbulent. When you are in the middle of turmoil, how are you able to find that calm? While everything seems to be in a state of perpetual upheaval, what strategies can you use to keep your composure? Begin by adopting the appropriate mindset, which involves confronting uncertainty with an open and flexible mind, and being prepared to adjust to conditions that are always shifting. Learning to flow with the flow of life, like a river that adjusts to the obstacles that are in its course, is preferable than pushing against the flow of life. It is important to keep in mind that you are not able to control everything that occurs around you, but you do have power over how you respond to it. In their writings, the Stoics provide us with actionable advice on how to cultivate a sense of calm in our everyday lives. The discipline of detachment teaches us not to hold too firmly to material objects or expectations, which enables us to maintain our composure in the face of unexpected shifts in circumstances. If you are on the high seas, imagine that you are tethered to a ship. In the event that you cling to it hard, it will pull you in every direction. Nevertheless, if you let go and float, you will remain floating regardless of the power of the waves. Stoic quotations encourage us to find peace in the midst of turmoil, which is especially helpful during uncertain times. Do not fret about future events, for they have not yet come. Live each moment according to nature, the philosopher Epictetus instructs us. This sage advice serves to remind us of the significance of living in the present moment, of taking pleasure in the here and now, and of not making an excessive amount of anxiety over what the future may bring. Additionally, the Stoics instruct us on how to maintain calm in the face of unforeseen circumstances by providing us with real instances. Remember how Seneca composed himself in the face of his destiny when being deported by Emperor Nero, or how Epictetus composed himself in the face of bodily anguish while being held captive. The aforementioned instances demonstrate that tranquility is not only an unreachable ideal, but rather a talent that can be developed and improved to a greater degree during the course of our lives. To discover moments of quiet in the midst of the chaos that is everyday life, it is necessary to learn how to take a deep breath in the middle of the storm. This is what it means to seek serenity in daily life. You may begin by setting aside a few minutes of your time every day to engage in meditation or contemplation. This will enable you to detach yourself from the noise of the outside world and establish a connection with yourself. One other thing you may do is cultivate an attitude of gratitude by concentrating on the positive aspects of your life rather than dwelling on the things that are lacking. While you are in the thick of the storm, your greatest strength is the ability to maintain your composure in the face of uncertainty. Take steps to cultivate that inner calm, learn to go with the flow of life, and discover serenity even in the midst of chaos. It is important to keep in mind the words of Marcus Aurelius, who said, "The true strength of the spirit is the serenity in uncertainty." At this point, if you are enjoying the material, I would like to extend an invitation to you to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you do not miss any of the next news. Now, let's return to the topic that was discussed in the video. 11. As a remedy, gratitude may be taken. There is an elixir that may shift your view, a power that can light even the darkest days. Gratitude. This elixir can be found when you are in the thick of the maelstrom that is life. According to Epictetus, gratitude is like a sun that radiates light in our heart, dominating even the darkest corners. The Stoic elders, with their ageless philosophy, tell us that developing gratitude is more than simply a discipline. It is an antidote to despair and discontentment. We learn this from the Stoic sages. This remark, which is credited to Seneca, resonates like an echo in Stoic teachings because it states that it is not pleasure that makes us thankful, but rather gratitude that makes us happy as individuals. Imagine waking up every morning and, rather of allowing yourself to get swept away by routine or problems, taking a minute to be thankful for anything, whether it be something as simple as the warmth of the sun on your face or something as profound as the love of your loved ones. There are opportunities to express gratitude in every single moment. The Stoics were aware of the fact that gratitude is not simply a reaction to the evident benefits that life bestows upon us, but it is also a tool that can be used to alter our experience of reality. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, gratitude is the dew that refreshes the garden of our soul, causing beauty to bloom where we least expect it. Rather than concentrating on what is lacking or what went wrong, gratitude offers us the opportunity to discover beauty even in the most trying of circumstances. Epictetus once remarked that gratitude is the seed that, when planted in the soil, grows into the garden of resilience. How can we put gratitude into practice? Even when we are in the middle of misfortune, the Stoics provide us techniques that we may put into practice. Negative visualization, for instance, is a strategy that enables us to picture the loss of what we already possess, which ultimately leads to a greater appreciation for what we already possess. When you are confronted with a challenging situation, make an effort to see it as an opportunity to develop and learn. Express gratitude for the educational experience it affords you. According to Seneca, gratitude is the key that unlocks the door to wealth, so unveiling riches that have been concealed deep inside the confines of the soul. In the face of misfortune, some examples of how the Stoics discovered reasons to be thankful are illuminating and encouraging. The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, one of the most notable Stoic emperors, include frequent allusions to gratitude for the lessons that life taught him. Despite the fact that Marcus Aurelius encountered various hardships throughout his reign, he was able to remain grateful. Even amid the most trying circumstances, he was able to recall that hardship has the potential to fortify one's character and foster traits of virtue. Cicero once stated that gratitude is the river that runs inside us, and it is this river that nourishes the base of our humanity. The question now is, how can you make gratitude a permanent attitude in your life? Getting started with mindfulness involves setting aside some time every day to think about the things for which you are thankful. Additionally, it is a good idea to maintain a gratitude diary in which you may write your thoughts and emotions. Do not undervalue the significance of expressing gratitude to other people. Even a simple "thank you" may have a significant influence on the relationships you have with other people. According to Marcus Aurelius, gratitude serves as the compass that directs us down the path of life, serving to remind us of the significance of each and every step that we take. A force that can brighten even the darkest of days, gratitude is a beacon in the darkness, a force that can illuminate even the darkest of days. You are able to alter your vision of reality and discover pleasure even when you are confronted with challenges if you cultivate an attitude of gratitude. In the words of Seneca, gratitude is not only the most admirable of all virtues, but it is also the mother of all other virtues. Therefore, what are you holding out for? Today is the day to begin your path toward living a life of gratitude. The significance of providing service to other people. In the broad landscape of life, there is one job that stands out for its nobility and transformational power: providing service to other people. The value of assisting our fellow humans has been praised by a number of great thinkers, ranging from the Stoics to current philosophers. These thinkers have recognized that helping others is not merely an act of compassion, but also a source of profound meaning and purpose. Cicero once taught us, "No advantage to oneself can justify harm to another." This maxim echoes in Stoic ethics, which is characterized by compassion and generosity as key foundations. Marcus Aurelius made the correct observation that the true progress of mankind is measured by the degree of service we render to our fellow men. Another wonderful quotation, this time from Zeno of Citium, informs us that service to others is the heartbeat of a just and caring society. However, how exactly can service give our life meaning? Imagine this: a young person who is volunteering his spare time to educate youngsters from disadvantaged backgrounds and seeing the joy and optimism that they feel on their faces as a result of their newfound knowledge. By doing this act of selflessness, he is able to discover a reason to get out of bed each morning, knowing that his efforts are making a genuine impact in the world. The qualities of compassion and generosity are not only a set of abstract virtues, rather, they are abilities that may be developed and applied in day-to-day activity. How do you get started with this? To begin, it is important to be aware of the needs of others around you. For example, a neighbor who is old may want assistance with carrying groceries, or a friend who is going through a difficult period may require someone to listen to them. The Stoics, beginning with Seneca and continuing through Marcus Aurelius, not only advocated for the significance of service, but they also put it into reality in their daily lives. One of the most well-known Stoic philosophers, Seneca, spent a significant portion of his time and money to assisting people who were less fortunate. He also used his position to argue for justice and equality. The next phrase from Marcus, which resonates with a great deal of force, is as follows: "True power lies in how we serve the most vulnerable in our society." So, how can you discover chances to serve others in your day-to-day life? Participating in charitable events or volunteering at local organizations is one approach to get experience. When your friends, family, and co-workers are going through a difficult time, you may also search for methods to help them. Sometimes, a little act of kindness can have a far bigger effect than you could ever think. As Epictetus puts it, generosity is the echo of love in action, resounding in the hearts of those who need it the most. Not only is service to others a virtue, but it also provides us with a sense of meaning and purpose in our lives. Through the cultivation of compassion and generosity, we not only elevate others in our immediate environment, but we also enhance our own life. It is through the act of serving others that we discover the secret to living a life that is in harmony with the cosmos. Conquer adversity and emerge more powerful than you were before it happened. This is the definition of resilience. Adversity is a constant in the never-ending dance of life, but you should not be afraid of it because you possess the power of resilience, which is the intrinsic capacity to rise up in the face of adversity and become a hero of your own tale, ready to unleash your potential. With their ageless teachings on how to persevere in the face of misfortune, the Stoic sages have left us these lessons. A quote attributed to Epictetus, a Greek philosopher, states that the strongest tree is the one that has faced the strongest winds. This sage expression serves to remind us that our mentality in the face of difficulties is the primary factor in determining our capacity to triumph over them. Consequently, rather of giving in to the storm, you should learn how to dance in the rain. Imagine an oak tree that is able to withstand the force of the wind. With each gust, its roots get more robust, its trunk becomes more rigid, and its branches are able to maintain their flexibility without breaking. In a similar vein, adversity may be the wind that molds your personality and gets you ready for the difficulties that lie ahead. Every hurdle is a chance for progress, a lesson that pushes you one step closer to becoming the greatest version of yourself. The cultivation of mental and emotional resilience requires the cultivation of one's inner self, via the use of potent materials. Make gratitude a daily practice. Concentrate on the things you have control over and accept with peace the things that are beyond your ability to influence. Maintaining your composure in the middle of the storm may be accomplished with the assistance of strong friends, such as meditation and positive visualization. When confronted with hardship, the Stoics, who were experts in the art of fortitude, displayed bravery and resolve. Seneca, the great exponent of Stoicism, said, "Pain is the teacher that teaches us to be strong. So dare to challenge your limits, embrace pain as a teacher, and transform every obstacle into an opportunity to shine." In everyday life, you can develop a resilience mindset by following some simple but powerful recommendations. Cultivate a strong support network by surrounding yourself with people who inspire and motivate you to be your best self. Practice self-care by making time for hobbies, nature, and activities that fill you with positive energy. And above all, always keep the flame of hope alive, that spark that drives you forward even in the darkest of times. So do not fear adversity, for in its challenge lies the opportunity to become the hero of your own epic. Rise up with courage, the wisdom of detachment. In the vast ocean of existence, the wisdom of detachment stands as a luminous guiding light, guiding you through the turbulent waters of life to inner serenity. Sages of all ages have proclaimed the importance of freeing oneself from the shackles of results and expectations, recognizing that clinging to them only breeds suffering and anxiety. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "True self-mastery lies in the acceptance of what is and the renunciation of what cannot be." This phrase encapsulates the very essence of detachment, accepting reality as it is without fighting it or clinging to illusions. Imagine you are on a car journey towards a goal you have set for yourself. You have a plan meticulously mapped out in your mind, with every step calculated and every outcome foreseen. However, along the way you encounter unexpected detours, obstacles, unforeseen events, and adverse weather conditions. If you stubbornly stick to your original plan, you will plunge into a sea of frustration and despair. But if you detach yourself from your expectations and adapt to the circumstances, you will be able to navigate your way calmly and serenely, even when things don't go as expected. Emotional and mental detachment involves letting go of the illusory control we believe we have over our lives. It frees us from unnecessary suffering by allowing us to accept what we cannot change and focus on what we can control, our attitude and our response to the situations we face. The Stoics, masters of the philosophy of detachment, found peace in accepting what they could not control. Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "Accept with serenity what life offers you, and you will find true freedom." This teaching reminds us that our happiness and well-being should not be tied to external circumstances, but should arise from within ourselves. 1. Know thyself. The first step to authenticity is self-knowledge. Take the time to explore your values, beliefs, and passions. What really matters to you? What makes you feel alive? Once you have clarity about who you are, it will be easier to act in congruence with your principles. 2. Embrace your imperfections. Authenticity doesn't mean being perfect. It means being real. Accept your imperfections and mistakes as part of what makes you human. Remember Marcus Aurelius's famous quote, "Accept the things you are destined for with love, and understand what really belongs to you, and understand that what belongs to you is rooted in your being." 3. Practice honesty. Sincerity is a fundamental pillar of authenticity. Be honest with yourself and others in all your interactions. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable and share your true thoughts and feelings. Transparency creates genuine connections and strengthens your relationships. 4. Live by your values. The Stoics were masters at living by their deepest values, even in the most challenging circumstances. Follow their example and make your actions reflect your core principles. Face every situation with integrity and consistency, no matter what difficulties you may face. 5. Be true to yourself in all areas of life. Authenticity is not selective. You should strive to be authentic in all areas of your life, whether at work, in your personal relationships, or in your free time. Don't compromise your values out of convenience or social pressure. Remember these words of Seneca. Life, if you know how to use it correctly, is long enough. Don't waste your precious time trying to be someone you are not. Instead, embrace your authenticity and allow it to guide every step you take. In doing so, you will discover a deep satisfaction and sense of fulfillment that can only come from living a truly authentic life. The significance of introspection. In the enormous ocean of self-knowledge, introspection appears as the lighthouse that lights our inner waters, exposing the hidden riches of our acts and motives. In other words, introspection is the key to understanding ourselves. Have you ever taken the time to pause and listen to the hushed voice of your own soul? Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, is credited with saying, "Introspection is the lamp of the soul that illuminates its abode." This adage serves as a reminder that in order to successfully navigate the stormy currents of life, we must first tune into the depths of our being. According to Socrates, who said that an unexamined life is not worth living, these statements underline the critical need to look inside, to question who we are and what motivates us. Quotes from wise people throughout history resonate on the topic of introspection. The process of looking inward not only helps us to better understand ourselves, but it also enables us to better understand others. When we are aware of our own feelings and motives, we are able to cultivate a more profound and genuine empathy for people who are in our immediate environment. Through this process, reflection serves as a conduit to authentic human connection. However, how can we develop this essential ability for our own personal development? Establishing moments of silence and calmness in our routine, whether through meditation, reflective writing, or simply devoting a few minutes to contemplation, enables us to delve into the labyrinth of our mind and heart. Reflection and self-evaluation are cornerstones on this path, and they should be practiced on a regular basis. From Marcus Aurelius, who wrote in his meditations on his own inadequacies and inner battles, to Epictetus, who meditated on the route to virtue and wisdom, the Stoics provide us with clear examples of how to participate in the quest for inner truth. The Stoics are considered to be the masters of practical philosophy. The aforementioned thinkers demonstrate to us that introspection is not a goal, but rather a journey that never ends. With the intention of cultivating introspection as a tool for personal development, it is vital to assume a posture of humility and openness. Recognizing our limits and errors without harshly criticizing ourselves enables us to learn and grow from each experience. According to Marcus Aurelius, your task is not to seek love. Rather, it is simply to seek and find all the barriers within you that you have built against it. Introspection is the beacon that guides our journey towards self-knowledge and human connection. By engaging in regular reflection, we can unravel the mysteries of our own existence and open ourselves up to a life that is more fulfilling and brings us more meaning. That being said, dear soul explorer, use the light of introspection to enlighten your path and guide you to the truth that is inside you. As a virtue, humility is the golden thread that connects our acts to the grandeur of the cosmos. In the enormous tapestry that is life, humility is the golden thread. This is something that the Stoic sages, such as Epictetus, had a great understanding of. It is impossible to learn what one thinks one already knows, this precept informed us. We are led to a more modest knowledge of our limits and a continual realization that there is always more to learn as a result of this. Contrary to popular belief, humility is not a sign of weakness, but rather a quality that fosters relationships that are true and meaningful. When you remove the covering of ego from your relationships, you will find that they become more genuine. Is there anybody who does not recall the buddy who listens carefully without boasting about his or her own accomplishments? If you are humble, you will be able to interact with other people from a position of equality and empathy, therefore forming connections that will last beyond the constraints of time and location. The question now is, how can we make this virtue a part of our everyday lives? The tactics are as simple as they are effective. To begin, you should engage in active listening, which means paying complete attention to the words said by other people and refraining from interrupting them with your own thoughts and ideas. Acknowledge your errors and take the lessons you've learned from them to heart. Adopt the mindset that the key to personal development is the humility to acknowledge and accept our flaws. Engage in the practice of gratitude, which involves recognizing the contributions that people have made to your life and expressing your thanks without showing any reservations. The Stoics, with their tranquil vision of the world, educate us to discover our position in the universe. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, gave us these words: "Learn to be indifferent to what does not depend on you." Realizing that we are insignificant in the grand scheme of things in the world liberates us from conceit and encourages us to appreciate the worth of other people. The cultivation of a modest attitude needs dedication and self-control on a daily basis, since we are fellow travelers in this fleeting world. Develop a sense of humility by keeping in mind that the pursuit of knowledge is an ongoing process and that there is always something new to learn. Regular self-reflection, in which you examine your behaviors and the reasons behind them with complete candor, should be practiced. Gain the ability to step back and let others shine their own unique and vital light by learning to cede the spotlight. When it comes to achieving real greatness, humility is the key that unlocks the doors. Embrace humility in your day-to-day life, and you will find that you are able to cultivate more genuine relationships, that the world opens up before you with new possibilities, and that you find peace in the recognition of your place in the vast universe. This is a quote from Marcus Aurelius, who said, "True knowledge is knowing the extent of one's ignorance." Your journey across the turbulent sea of life is illuminated by the lighthouse of inner calm, which serves as a goal in the ongoing pursuit of pleasure and satisfaction. The wise individuals were aware of the fact that this inner peace was not only desired, but also served as the basis upon which a life that is genuinely fulfilling is constructed. A quote attributed to Marcus Aurelius, which states that "true wealth is peace of mind," is an excellent approach to start. Just for a second, picture yourself in a private garden where the flowers of tranquility are abundantly blooming. The urge that every person has to achieve a level of tranquility that is unaffected by the challenges that come from the outside world is symbolized by this picture. In that garden, every idea is a seed that you plant as carefully as possible, and every feeling is a flower that you tend to as carefully as possible. Therefore, the gardener of your own mind is the one who is responsible for cultivating inner calm. Stoics, like Seneca, realized that the key to genuine pleasure is not the amassing of worldly riches, but rather the capacity to find peace even in the midst of turmoil. This was a fundamental principle of Stoic philosophy. Take a look at how a tree is able to maintain its stability in the face of a storm. Its extensive roots keep it planted even while the wind whips around it. Additionally, the Stoics discovered a safe haven from the storms of life in the virtues and the mastery of oneself. It is necessary to learn how to quiet the mind and find peace in the midst of the chaos that is the world in order to create mental and emotional calmness. The practices of meditation and mindfulness are strong tools that enable you to educate your mind to concentrate on the here and now, so liberating you from the concerns of the past as well as the fears of the future. In the same way that a sailor changes the sails of his ship in order to cross rough waves, you may train your mind to navigate the ocean of life with competence. You may create an attitude of acceptance and compassion toward yourself and others by regularly practicing meditation, which helps you develop the capacity to watch your thoughts without connecting with them. This enables you to get a better understanding of yourself and others. As Epictetus taught, accept everything that happens to you, even if you don't want it. Mindfulness, on the other hand, invites you to fully immerse yourself in each experience, savoring each moment with fulfillment and gratitude. By paying mindful attention to your thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations, you learn to respond rather than react impulsively to circumstances. Just as a sculptor delicately molds clay, you can shape your life with intention and purpose. Inner peace is not a destination to reach, but a journey to undertake each day with determination and humility. In the midst of life's vicissitudes, remember the words of Marcus Aurelius. True happiness is in the tranquility of the soul. With each breath, with each conscious thought, you come a little closer to the inner peace. The importance of empathy in a world where human connection often seems overshadowed by the maelstrom of everyday life. Empathy emerges as a saving light, capable of illuminating even the darkest moments. It is the bridge that unites hearts, the universal language of understanding and solidarity. As the Roman philosopher Seneca once said, "Where there is affection, there is understanding." This premise is the foundation upon which the importance of empathy in our lives is built. The words of great thinkers echo down the centuries, reminding us of the vital need to understand and share the feelings of others. From the writings of Seneca to the contemporary teachings of thought leaders like Brené Brown, empathy stands as the backbone of meaningful and satisfying relationships. Imagine this scene. A friend tells you about his problems at work, expressing frustration and discouragement. Instead of simply nodding and changing the subject, you immerse yourself in their experience, trying to truly understand what they are feeling. This act of empathy not only strengthens your connection with your friend, but also offers them a comforting balm for their soul, making them feel understood and supported. Cultivating empathy in our daily interactions is essential to building a more compassionate and caring world. How can we achieve this? With small gestures and big attitudes, active listening, putting ourselves in the other person's place, is the first step. Practices such as compassion meditation can help you develop a more receptive and understanding attitude towards others. The Stoics, despite their reputation for imperturbability, also showed deep compassion for their fellow human beings. Epictetus, with his unflinching wisdom, reminded us of the importance of being kind and understanding to those around us, even when circumstances are adverse. In the daily practice of empathy, it is not just a matter of feeling compassion, but of acting accordingly, offering a helping hand to those in need, listening without judgment, being present in others' moments of pain and joy. These are the actions that transform empathy into a powerful engine of change in our lives and in the world. Empathy is more than an interpersonal skill. It is an act of humanity that enriches our lives and strengthens our bonds with others. By cultivating empathy in our daily interactions, we honor the very essence of what it means to be human, to learn and share the feelings of our fellow human beings. So the next time you encounter someone who needs your support, remember the words of the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius. When you have the opportunity to show affection, don't pass it up. The search for wisdom in the vastness of the universe, where every star is a lesson and every constellation a body of knowledge, you find yourself immersed. It is an endless journey where the thirst for understanding and the constant search for truth are your compasses. In this journey, you are not alone, for the sages of the past have left their footprints, reminding you of the importance of continuing to learn and grow throughout your existence. A quote that resonates strongly on this path is that of Socrates: "I only know that I know nothing." In this apparent paradox lies the essence of the quest for wisdom. Recognizing one's ignorance is the first step toward knowledge. Each day, as you open yourself to learning, you embrace humility and move closer to the truth. Wisdom is not a destination, but a journey that gives meaning to your existence. By cultivating this habit of continuous education, you not only expand your mind, but also enrich your life in unimaginable ways. Imagine a garden where every book you read, every conversation you have, is a seed you plant. With proper care, these seeds germinate and flourish, filling your life with color and fragrance. To cultivate the habit of continuing education and personal development, it is vital to establish a routine that encourages learning. Set aside time each day to read, whether it's a book, an article, or an essay. Seek out opportunities to learn from others, whether through conversations, conferences, or online courses. Keep an open and curious mind, willing to question and explore new ideas. The Stoics, with their philosophy of life centered on virtue and self-discovery, valued knowledge and wisdom as a means to eudaimonia, the fullness of being. For them, true wisdom did not lie in accumulating information, but in applying it in daily life. As Epictetus once said, true wisdom lies in recognizing what is within your control and accepting what is not. To follow the path of wisdom in daily life, I recommend that you focus on the here and now, practice mindfulness, cultivating the ability to be present in each moment. Learn to listen with empathy, seeking to understand before being understood. Be mindful of your actions and decisions, remembering that each choice shapes your destiny. The search for wisdom is a fascinating journey that invites you to explore the deepest corners of your being. Through continuing education, personal development, and the practical application of knowledge, you can achieve a fuller and more meaningful existence. Always remember the words of Marcus Aurelius: "Wisdom is not knowledge, but action." So go ahead, embark on this journey with courage and determination, because in the pursuit of wisdom, you will find the true treasure, the realization of your human self.